Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, my friends. Welcome again to JHS interviews. My name is John Henry Soto, and I really appreciate everyone who's taken the time to watch my show and make the comments and send me information. It's been just a wonderful blessing for me and for all everyone who's actually participated in um, in these shows. It's really a blessing, and I'm really having a lot of fun, and I'm learning a lot as well. So I want to thank everybody. If you like these videos, please. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the little bell so we remind you. Also, share it if you think the information is valuable. And speaking of valuable, today we're going to have an incredible, valuable guest. It's his second time on the show. He is a health and nutritionist coach. He had some great information last time, and I said to myself, he's got to come back. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to JHS Interviews, George Batista.
Awesome.
What's
Thank
up,
you.
George? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
So it's my pleasure, man. So last time you were on, I was blown away because I remember telling my wife, I was like, "Damn, George like knows his shit." I was like, you because I was very impressed by like you really knowing specifics of like blood type things and stuff of that the body reacts to, and because there's so much more to nutrition than just eating right and working out, right? Because
Right.
I
Right.
know for a fact that our blood types, depending on, can also affect what you eat. Some people
Right.
need certain things more than others, depending on that.
Correct.
It doesn't really get talked about a lot.
Right.
And what doesn't get talked about a lot, or it does get talked about a lot, probably it just probably gets suppressed, but is the foods that we eat. The foods that get put out there and get pushed in our faces, and the damages that it causes to the body.
Exactly.
That doesn't necessarily get talked about much, although it does. But again, like I'm saying, I think it just gets a little suppressed. So it's great to have this format and this platform where we can come on here and share this with people that we know, and anybody can share it with others. So I want to thank you for being on here. One of
Absolutely.
the first things that I wanted to ask you about was your products, right? I've been on the website, and you have these great products there. I mean, just they're all. You know what I like about the site is also, and I was talking to one of the guests I had a few days ago. Um, it was a very clean site.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I
Right.
hate going to a site where there's like things pop up and you go, hey, get 10%.
Exactly.
Give us your email address and we're gonna send you an email for the rest of your life, three
Right.
to four times a day. I don't mind getting stuff because if I want it, I don't mind getting it. You could always unsubscribe, but I like to just go to the site and see the products. And that was one thing that I noticed on your site. But now we're gonna talk about Omega Life 2X, right?
Right.
And what exactly is that?
Well, first of all, again, thanks for having me on. I love being here and sharing the knowledge. So this is really cool. And what you're doing, by the way, is amazing. So just
Thank you.
keep
Appreciate
going, keep going with it, and then I think it's great. So Omega Life is it's a product. It's a fish oil product. It's a product by a company called Nordic Naturals. And the reason why I love it, because first of all, I've partnered with Nordic Naturals as a health coach and nutritionist. So I work with them and helping them get their products out and stuff like that, the clients and that type of thing. And I love this product because, everybody thinks, okay, fish oil, yeah, it's great, blah, 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 that type of thing. But this product, it checks a lot of boxes for me. And I think for a lot of other people, because number one, it's a product that is, it's the quality of it is amazing because Nordic Natural is one of the leading companies in the entire world as far as making fish oils. Okay, so they're held to a very high standard as far as the products they make and the purity and it being free of dioxins and PCBs and mercury and all that type of stuff. So that's one of the reasons I love it. The other thing is that the product itself is a very easy product to take. So it's made with small mini gels. And those folks who have seen other products, fish oil products that have
Yeah,
these
they're like this big.
gels, they had like
It's
pork
like
pills.
it's like what the hell? It's
It's
gonna
very
really stick a straw into it and just like
exactly. So this product is mini gel, so it's a lot easier to swallow. It doesn't have the fishy taste that a lot of other products or low grade products have. Um, and it's got a good amount of omega-3s in it. So it's got the what's called the EPA and the DHA in it, very good amounts. And then, depending on what you need, you can always take more of it. But it also has something in it that you don't see a lot with omegas, and it's actually got 1,000 units of vitamin D.
Oh,
And I love that because you're not only getting the anti-inflammatory effects of the fish oil and the omega-3s, but you're also getting the immune boosting effects of the vitamin D3. So again, it checks all those boxes that I like. I've been promoting this product for a while. I've been promoting the company for a while, actually. It's one of the best companies. And I promote maybe 2 or 3 companies in general, but that's pretty much it. I'm very, very strict about the companies that I work with. But this company it's a Norwegian company. It's top notch. They manufacture an amazing product. And that's definitely why I use it.
so let me ask you about fish oil and stuff, because yeah, you're right. You go out and you go to any. I can go to CVS, I can go to Walgreens, and I'll see a whole aisle of different types of fish oils. Some of them like big bottles like this with like 400 fish oils,
Right.
for like $1.99. So obviously the quality of it is the reason why they're so cheap. You don't get the benefit of the actual product, the actual benefits of it. You don't get it. Um, but what is the benefit of taking fish oil for the body?
Oh, what is not the benefit? Okay, put it this way. So omega-3s are what's called essential. They're called essential fatty acids. The reason why they're called essential is because the body cannot make it. Okay, so you have to take it in from food, right? So, everybody says, eat your fish a day, how many, or eat how many servings of fish per week and that type of thing, eat salmon, all that type of stuff, which is fine. That's great. But the reason why these types of fish oils are so powerful is because they have, again, the 2 compounds, EPA and DHA. Okay, those are the really heavy hitters when it comes to fish oil. EPA is what gives you the anti-inflammatory effects. Okay, so it's a compound that when it goes into your system, it helps your body make a hormone called prostaglandins. That hormone is an anti-inflammatory hormone. And it actually, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It brings down the inflammation in your body, right? So the DHA part of it is the part that crosses the blood-brain barrier and actually helps with your thinking. It helps your brain function properly. It helps with neuroplasticity. Okay, because your brain is a good percentage of your brain is fat. Okay, that's why we're all fatheads, right? So, so some more than others,
Right.
But a good portion of your brain is fat. So the DHA actually crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps with issues with cognitive decline and things like that. So it's definitely needed in there. So now here's the thing about fish oil that is amazing. Okay, we all know the FDA, right? We all know the FDA is very conservative. They're very conservative in what they talk about when it comes to supplements. They don't like a good amount of supplements, and there's usually a fight between the supplement industry and the FDA and that type of thing. Well, the FDA has actually made a heart health claim about omega-3s. Right? They've actually said that taking omega-3s may, and they always put may in there, may reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, may reduce the risk of dementia and all these types of inflammatory diseases. Because we all know inflammation is the root of all disease, right? So bringing down that inflammation is the key to longevity and that type of thing. So
I think we know that, but I don't think a lot of people do know that. I think it's something that I don't know if people really understand how inflamed this country is.
oh no, absolutely.
Like I've had a personal situation with my son and the inflammation that he had on his legs and his knees and all stuff. And the stuff that we gave him was a lot of those supplements that contains all those omega-3s, and that's really what reduced all the inflammation and why now he can't stop running around. But we're blessed. I'm blessed every time I see him running.
Yep.
I was
Absolutely.
going to ask you, 'cause I know you were, I don't want to, don't lose your train of thought, but
Okay.
um, is there a supplement that the FDA has approved?
There, it's when you say approve.
Well, on every yeah, on everything that you buy, every supplement that I've ever seen, I don't think I've ever seen anyone that doesn't have on it, this product has not been approved by
Correct.
the FDA.
Correct.
You know, which I get. Is there anyone that where it doesn't, where it, at least it doesn't say that, or it says that it is approved? They probably won't say it's approved. They'll probably say that it's not disapproved.
Right. They will never. I mean, now keep in mind, in order for you to manufacture a supplement, you do have to follow strict guidelines.
Of course.
And FDA actually puts those guidelines on, whether it's pharmaceuticals or whether it's supplements. So they do
And I
have.
don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's a good
No,
thing.
it is a good thing.
You got a bunch
Absolutely.
of crazy people
Right.
making
No,
it
exactly.
in
You
their
want to make
backyard.
sure that your supplements are made correctly and that type of thing. And I'm all for them weeding out companies that are not doing it right. So, okay,
Correct.
so that's the one thing. Now, the issue with the FDA is that, again, like I said, they're very conservative. So again, the word approval is, they're not really going to say I approve. But the thing about omega-3s is that they had no choice to actually say that this is heart healthy, because there was just so much overwhelming evidence. They've
Right.
actually seen, there's so many studies on people who were low in fish oils that had major problems, that when fish oil was introduced into their diet, it actually changed the equation. It
Mm-hmm.
actually made a huge difference. As a matter of fact, Harvard, which is another top school and top studies, Harvard actually did a study of all the things that you need to do. I call it basically to stay alive.
Right.
Okay, so basically stop smoking, exercise a certain amount of time, lower your trans fats, lower this, lower that type of thing, lower your triglycerides. Well, one of the things was make sure you're taking omega-3s.
Wow.
Okay, so in that study, fish oil was actually in the same sentence as stopping smoking. I mean, hard,
Pretty
and this
big.
is hard. Okay,
Wow.
so it is, you don't realize. I mean, again, like I say, you don't know what you don't know, but it's really, really powerful what this compound does and how much it's needed by the body.
Right. Just say hi. Hey, Patty. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions for George, please shoot them out. Um, so that is amazing. There's also a whole other, there's like a culture, right, that kind of understands everything that you're saying. People that are in fitness, obviously, people, but obviously there's some doctors that probably know but really can't talk about it.
Of course.
But what do you think the future of something like this is? Because you're right, they can't. There's so much overwhelming evidence that not just the omega 3s, but also other things that really just do help the body. And
Right.
coming out more and more certain things. We all, I mean, if you don't know smoking is bad for you by now,
Right. Right.
then there's an addiction problem, and that's another thing, right? As well as what else? Drinking alcohol to an excess, not working out,
Right.
eating fast foods. All these things, there is kind of an understanding that you should not do these things, right?
Yeah.
What's one of the things you feel, one of the biggest factors that you think that people really do not know and that they should know, more important than anything else, than the things not to do?
Well, I mean,
Hi,
the
Lane.
I mean, probably the problem is that we, as a society, when you look at health and stuff like that, everything's very, it's just so generalized. Like you said, it's like, okay, you go to your doctor and they say, well, you guys should eat right, you should exercise, and that, and that's pretty much as far as they go. Okay,
Right.
there's no specifics in there. So in order for you to get those specifics, you actually have to go and you have to do the research. You have to find out. You have to talk to a nutritionist or whatever. You have to go to a different type of doctor, because that's So I think I think for me, from what I've learned and all, the years of obsession of doing all this and stuff like that, is that the taking in of the nutrients that is needed by the body is probably the biggest thing where people are still, they don't get it.
Mm.
Okay. Because just as an example, we all know that exercise is going to prolong life. Yes. We all know that exercise is to keep your heart strong, to keep your body going, to keep your blood flowing, muscles moving, and all that. Very, very important, right? But do you know that if you exercise and let's say you're running and you're doing all these things, but you're not getting the proper nutrition in to balance that, okay? Well, that all the nutrition that you have within, all those vitamin or minerals, where do you think they're going? They're being sweat out.
Right.
They're coming out in the bathroom. They're coming out through your sweat. Because remember, sweat is not just water. Sweat is a soup of vitamins, minerals, sodium, all toxins, all these things that are coming out. Okay, if you're not replenishing that, then that. I mean, there have been marathon runners who unfortunately die during a marathon, and a lot of times it's because they're not properly hydrated. Not just hydrated when I'm talking about water. I'm talking about hydrated when it comes to nutrition.
Right.
So, there's a saying that there's a doctor. His name is Joel Wallach, and I follow him because I love the way he puts certain things. And he says, exercise without proper nutrition is suicide.
Wow.
And I completely agree. I think the biggest thing of people, getting that nutrition in, whether it's through the food they're eating or whether it's through the multivitamin or the fish oil or whatever it is, getting that in the proper amounts, okay, is one of the hardest things to do. And I know this because sometimes when I've worked with people, I tell them, okay, listen, get on this multivitamin and stay on it. Just stay on it and order it, every month or every 2 months or whatever it is. They'll order it maybe 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden they just fade away.
Right.
It stops. And I'll go back with them, do a follow-up and say, well, what happened to the multivitamin? Well, I forgot to order it and blah, blah. Yeah. And there goes the issue. Yeah. So
now the nutrition effect, like you said earlier, the brain, our thought process is really affected by nutrition. Like if you're not eating well, your brain is mush.
Right.
Do you think that a lot of the foods that we're eating in this country, the majority, it doesn't contain those nutrients that you're talking about in foods, right? So, and it is basically, isn't it like 80-20%? Like, I mean, 20% working out, 80% nutrition or something like that. It's like, it's almost like, working out is almost like, don't even bother if you're eating right. Who the hell cares? But you do have to kind of get some exercise in. But so talk to me a little bit about the foods that are currently out there, because I feel like this is my opinion, not a popular one, I'm sure, but I feel that the food industry is purposely putting out cheap food, and it's throughout the years. Like you just said, this guy forgot. All right, he forgot to order it, so there's no importance put on a person's health. And your own body, you know what I mean? It's like there's nobody. So this right here tends, for me, it seems like there's something in the mind that was weakened, or that we were somehow chemically brainwashed by some of the foods. We've been dumbed down, which has already been a hot topic through everything. What do you think can resolve that? How is somebody going to eat? What is somebody supposed to eat? Because think about it for a second. They'll say, you go to the supermarket, right? And the food, okay, the pesticides, right? So you can't get regular stuff, right? You got to get organics, right? So you got to, organics are expensive, right? So people are like, oh, it's too expensive, So I'll just get the pesticides and just wash it really good. Right. But then you hear, but the soil that is actually growing out of, it's not even enriched with any kind of thing. So the stuff that's coming out is basically that thing that just looks like it, but it's not giving you the full the
Exactly.
full nutrients of it. So somebody goes into the supermarket right now, they're watching this, and tomorrow they're gonna go into the supermarket and they're gonna say, all right, I want to start eating healthy. I saw this thing last night on YouTube, and this guy, Batista, was talking about it, and I want to start eating right. What's one of the first things they should go for in a supermarket?
Well, the first thing you need to do is to realize when you get into the supermarket how the supermarket is actually laid out, because the supermarket is laid out purposely in a certain way for you to go through certain areas to get to the other areas. Okay. So, for example, if you ever notice in the supermarket, look at the middle aisles, they have the candy and the cookies and the sodas and all those types of things. You usually have to go either to the back or the ends or the sides of the supermarket to get to the actual produce, to get to where
Sure, that's actually you're right about that.
and it's laid out that way. And the lettuce and tomatoes and all those, those types of things are in those areas. Okay. Every supermarket I've been in is like that. Okay. And also, when you walk through the cakes and the cookies aisles, they have the actual cakes and cookies lower in many of those areas. Why? So the kids, when they're walking by, they can see it.
You can see it,
And they
yeah.
can put it in there. So you have to kind of first kind of come to that realization that that's that's
That's
that
the
way
agenda,
yeah, there's an agenda. It's a purpose for that.
right?
Okay.
And I
So
mean, not to even trash on the companies. Their product is they want to sell their product, so
absolutely.
a cookie now and then. I think what happens is people just you know, abuse it because
Right.
it's sugar and it's an addictive thing. So, but anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. So that's the first thing. Now, so the way I look at eating is this, and you're completely correct. The soils, the way they're farmed today, they have very little minerals in it now. Okay, they and the minerals is one of the most important things to get when you're eating food. And this is why I talk about supplementation, because people are just not getting the minerals from eating their food. So um, the way I look at diet and eating is you don't have to be perfect. You don't have, I look at it as like we talked about 80-20. Well, I look at diet as 80-20 as well. You
Mm,
want to try to eat 80% good stuff, real food, good food. And then 20%, you know, have your snacks, have your whatever it is that you enjoy. You don't have to be a perfect 100% because it's very difficult to do that the way things are laid out.
mm.
So I tell people go, try to get as healthy as they can. Okay, if now I love a big giant salad and I throw a lot of things in it. I may throw some grilled chicken in it. I may throw some croutons in it. I may throw, tons of stuff in it. I can't just have a piece of lettuce by itself because to me it's kind of boring, but I throw a lot of things on it. So, so if you're going to get some healthy stuff, get a nice big salad and put as many things as you can on it, get some olive oil, put that on it. But salads are excellent. Okay. But um, when you go into these aisles, even in the frozen sections, they have different types of burgers, or for example, meatless burgers. Now plant-based is the big thing now, right?
Right.
So they have plant-based type stuff. So you could look into those types of things. Okay, if you don't want to get a regular hamburger, some of them actually taste even better than a hamburger. Really, some of them don't, some of them do. So it just depends.
Yeah.
But again, you don't have to be perfect. Start with small things. Start with small things. But what you don't want to do is go through the middle aisles and get the soda and the cookies. And even though it's cheaper, yes, I understand that it's cheaper and it may last longer. But at the end of the day, do you want to sacrifice your health for because of that? Not only your health, but it could be the health of your children and the health of anybody who lives with you. Okay,
Right.
so you want to sometimes read the label, look at the label of something, look at you want to, if something has a 500 milligrams of sodium versus the other one that has maybe 250 milligrams of sodium, then take that one instead. Little
Right.
choices make a big difference. So I always recommend those types of things.
Yeah. And I also think that people are somewhat um they get overwhelmed with stuff like that, having to look at labels and
They
having to
do.
do,
They do.
and I think that's why it's important to talk to, a specialist, a nutritionist, or somebody
Exactly.
who can at least sit with you and be like, all right, what do you like for breakfast? What do you like for lunch? What do you like for dinner? Here's
Right.
a list. Go out and eat this, let's
Right.
and
Right.
give them something, some guidance and stuff. So That's why I'm glad that you're here. When you actually go out, you personally, when you're purchasing anything to do, you eat meat, right?
I do.
So the kind of meats that are out there, I go to a very nice butcher place here that has like very, very high quality meats and stuff. Like I don't get anything from the supermarket, not
Right.
because I'm some arrogant prick, but just because I just don't like the taste of it. I like the taste of the better stuff, and if I can buy it, I'll buy the good stuff. When you go out and you're looking for a treat, let's go there. What would you go for first?
When you say treat, you mean like
Yeah,
something sugary, for example,
like a little Debbie snacks or something,
like a Nutter Butter?
like a Nutter Butter. Oh man, did we
God,
like
I don't know how I ever
we like
stopped eating
OD on that?
that. Well, this is what I do. Um, there, there are certain snacks that I like that I'll eat because I'm one of those that has a sweet tooth. Okay, so I like a little snack.
I'm asking, 'cause I remember,
Yeah, yeah, you remember
and
that.
I do too.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I like a little something sweet after a meal, that type of thing. Okay, and I'm not against that at all. But for example, there's a company that makes a certain protein bar that has 1 gram of sugar, but it's sweetened with stevia, which is a more of a natural sweetener. But it has like 10 grams of protein and stuff like that. I love this bar. And I get the chocolate version. They also have the cookies and cream version. They have a whole bunch of different versions. But I use this bar. I eat this bar many times after lunch or after dinner, and it fulfills my sweet tooth because it
Right,
does have that sweetness to it, but it's not. I'm not dealing with 20 grams of sugar.
right.
So and I like it. I personally like it.
Yeah,
Things like that. For example, I drink coffee. Okay, but now when I drink my coffee now, you see people that put 5 teaspoons of sugar in their coffee. I don't do that. Okay, I'll use stevia, which is a natural sweetener, again low glycemic, or sometimes I'll use honey. I
yeah.
actually put honey in my coffee, and I got that from a mutual friend that we have, by the way. Who
I've
showed
tried that. I've tried that once too. I wasn't crazy about it, but but it does get sweet.
it gets sweet, exactly, and
Yeah,
and now I've gotten used to it, so I can have it with no issues, and it's a matter of kind of getting used to these things.
yeah. I was gonna say that. Some of these things are not something that you're gonna just be like, oh my god, look what I was missing. But you're gonna have almost another appreciation for something.
Exactly.
And that's what happened to me. Like I actually drink coffee, but I don't. I've gotten to the point where I don't put any sugar in it anymore.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I weaned myself to actually be able to taste enough of the whatever I'm drinking to actually appreciate it.
Exactly.
Where I don't have to put sugar in it. Being Puerto Rican, you put 2 scoops of sugar. It's
Yeah.
always light and sweet, right? For you, whenever you go into any of these shops, and it's just complete poison that you're putting in your body, and it also knocks you out.
It does.
It's an energy thing. I want to talk about energy in a little bit also.
Yes. Absolutely.
But when we're talking about food, well, let's talk about energy because it's the whole point of food is for energy, right? Like there is no reason that food exists on this planet that it's not, you know what I mean? It's if you eat, this is why, I was talking about this the other day. If you're at Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Mhm.
What happens when everybody has their big meal? Everybody's passed out, right? Everybody's
Exactly.
out. Why? Because they're just combining all these different foods, and they're just it's just they're burned. Their body is just trying to like digest this thing and burning out.
Exactly.
So what do you think is the best energy? Like right now, supplements and stuff are good,
Right.
but energy wise, do you know about food combinations? Is that something that you talk about, like proteins and carbs mixed together, and those,
Yes.
because I know that is more wearing on the body. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, yes. Combining food the right way is very important. And again, the problem with it, and here's the thing: I don't subscribe to. A lot of people kind of find me weird because I don't subscribe to a particular diet. So I don't say you have to have, because there's a million diets in the world, right? You know,
Right.
I say, whether it's the vegan diet or the Mediterranean or the keto diet
The
or,
names. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all these, diets. Okay.
Diet.
I
Right.
don't subscribe to a particular way of a particular diet. I subscribe to a particular way of eating. Okay. So what I tell people is there's a there's a way of eating that I like, and there's 5 rules in it. Okay. And it's actually based off of a nutritionist that I used to listen to all the time, and it just made so much sense. Okay. And it talks about leaving space between your meals. Okay. And here's the thing, because you go to some of these, fitness people and all, and they'll tell you, well, you better have 6 meals a day, okay, because you want to stoke your energy and you want to keep your blood sugar, all that. I think that's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Interesting.
It's not logical in the way the body actually works. Okay, so he talks about leaving space between the meals. So I look at myself, for example. I'll have protein in the morning. Let's say I'll have some eggs in the morning. Okay. And or maybe a protein shake. So I'll have my morning will be kind of a high protein morning, and that will keep me full all the way up until lunchtime. Now my lunch will be 4 or 5 hours later, maybe more. It depends. It depends, because protein tends to keep me full, and protein is one of those things that actually does help to keep you full. Okay, fat does as well, but protein does that as well. So I always recommend having a good protein breakfast in the morning. Protein also, what it does is it actually helps your liver to ramp up. Okay, to help your liver start to really ramp up, and actually helps with fat burning. People don't know that.
Mm.
Okay, so and then I leave about 4, maybe 4 to 5 hours between your meals. And the reason why you want to do that is because once your body digests the food, let's say it takes about 3 hours to digest the meal. All right, your blood sugar has gone up because you had all this food in the morning. Then the blood sugar starts to go down to baseline. Right
Mm.
now, you want that. You want your blood sugar to go down to baseline, because then what happens is, if you haven't eaten anything, your liver starts to actually let go of whatever sugar it has stored in it. And that actually provides the same energy as if you would have eaten a meal at that point.
Oh wow.
Okay. And it's called glucagon. The liver releases it because the liver stores glycogen. It's called glycogen. Okay. That's what the sugar in your liver is called. Then you have a hormone once you haven't eaten, and your body says, okay, I'm low in blood sugar. There's a hormone called glucagon that taps on the liver and says, okay, release that glycogen back into the blood and boost up the body's energy source.
Didn't Glucagon fight Rocky?
Glucagon.
I must break you. I'm
It
sorry,
does
guys.
sound like some kind of a space warrior, right? Glucagon. But anyway, so that actually helps. That actually helps with energy and helps keep your head awake. Okay, and while you haven't eaten, when you get to your next meal. Okay, so um, and then, yes, it's important to, when you're having food, you're going to have portion it out, have a good amount of protein. You could have some carbs. I'm not a person who's against carbs. I just think you just have to lower the carbs. The problem is most people put half a plate of rice and a small little piece of chicken,
Yeah.
and maybe a vegetable or two, and forget about
And
it.
being Puerto Rican, you know how that is. It's like
Exactly,
how we
exactly.
grew up eating. You
So
know.
I think what you need to do is to kind of distribute it evenly. So, a lot of people will, a lot of nutritionists will talk about a fist size of carbs, that type of thing, or fist size of each thing on your plate.
Mm.
Okay. That's very reasonable for you to, have a nice proportion size there, like that way. So that's very important. The other things I'm very adamant about is not eating before you go to sleep. Okay.
Yeah, I have a problem with that
Okay.
because I'm doing this show, and when I get done here, I'm so hungry, and then I got to do all that. So sometimes I'm eating literally like at 12 midnight. I'm
Right.
having a meal, like I'm eating like pork chops or some shit. Uh,
Right.
so yeah. So I also, um, I'm sorry, no, but go ahead.
No, so anyway, so doing things like that, okay, you kind of using those concepts actually will help start to provide energy throughout the day. Okay. And it also keeps, because there are people that have issues with hypoglycemia and those type of things. Those are people who, have a very hard time going through the day without eating a lot of meals. Okay, because
Right.
their blood sugar's
Yeah.
crashing and those type of things.
Blood sugar and all that
A
stuff.
lot of, a lot of times those people have a liver issue. Okay,
Mm,
because their liver's not working properly in getting that glycogen out there to give them their energy source. Okay, so, and even those people, that actually can be corrected as well if you follow a certain protocol as you go. But following principles like that, I have found, even for me, because I use those principles every single day, gives me boundless energy.
mhm.
And you'd be surprised that actually even things like, because it's a little bit like intermittent fasting, and we've all heard fasting, how fasting is good as well. Fasting actually helps to also provide energy as you go along. So those are the principles that I, yeah,
A friend of mine does it a lot, and I didn't really understand how that would be a thing
yeah,
because I'm like, well, I'm hungry.
right,
Uh, but that's very interesting because then yeah, then your liver lets that stuff out and gives you that boost of energy.
exactly.
Uh, because it's storing it
Right,
basically on.
that's where your snack should come from, really.
Yeah, right, right. So, I was gonna talk a little bit about scheduling, right? Because I think people, one of the hardest things for people is to actually maintain that type of discipline where
Right,
they're eating, because people's day is crazy and whatever. But I think what this is what I think should someone should do, and this is what I've actually done. And even now with my crazy schedule, I eat at that time, but it's because I go to bed so late and I get up a little bit later, and
right.
so it fits into the schedule that I've currently have now because of this thing. But if someone were to sit down and say, okay, I wake up at this time, and really sit down, is that something that you work with people on? Like you sit with them, you're like, okay, what time do you normally wake up? What time do you normally eat? And then adjust it for their lives. And then with our phones nowadays, I mean, we could just, it can remind us whenever we have to do anything. You know what
Right.
I mean? We don't even need to remember shit anymore with just Siri and all the other stuff. So
Yeah.
what when you're working with somebody like that, is that something that you have trouble with them, like to try to figure out? Because it seems like that's the hardest thing, is just getting them to do it.
It is. It is the hard that is the number one thing, is to getting them to actually follow through, because people's schedules are crazy. There are people that work long hours, and they're in front of a desk, or they're and the other problem is a lot of them are just sitting all day long too, because that's a whole
And
nother
sitting is also like one of the killers of the,
killers. Yes, yeah,
like a
it is.
killer, right? It's like you're sitting, and isn't that crazy? Like sitting
It shortens life, and I mean, who knew? It actually shortens your life when you.
is so crazy.
It's incredible. But people have crazy schedules, so they're grabbing, they're grabbing things as they're on the phone, and they're on their meetings, and doing all these things, and they're snacking on the first thing that they can find from the vending machine, or whatever the case may be. And so when I work with somebody, yeah, I want to know exactly how their day goes, exactly on a normal day, when you wake up. First of all, how long do you sleep? But it's very
Yeah.
simple. How long do you sleep? Do you sleep 6 to 8 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever it is? A lot of people, just that in and of itself is a problem, because people go to bed so late, these days. So how long do you sleep? When you wake up, what do you do? Do you eat breakfast, or are you running and you're in the car and you're driving to work and you're snacking on a bagel or something like that? So there's all these. I mean,
It's like
that's
that's like the so that's so real.
so many people are doing. So what I do is, listen, I can't fix their schedule. I can't go to their job and say, can you give this person normal hours? I can't do that. So I have to help them around what their schedule is. Okay, so what I do, for example, I had one person who the first thing they would do is grab a bagel in the morning, and that would be their morning, and this rush of sugar would hit them in the morning, and they get this high. Then
Mm,
by the time they get to work, they're crashing, right?
Crash,
So
yeah.
what I would do is, listen, if you're on the run, forget about the bagel. Get yourself a nice, delicious protein shake. Okay. And just make a shake and shake it out and take it with you. Right. Something as simple as that, because that's, again, is going to give you that feeling of fullness when you get all that protein inside you. It's not going to kill your blood sugar.
Right.
Right. but it's going to give you, it's still going to give you the nutrition that you need to power your day. Okay. And, some people use it as a meal replacement. My wife would do that all the time. She would use protein in the morning, a protein shake before she went to work. She wouldn't eat breakfast. That was her breakfast. And by the time she got to work, then she ate lunch and then she ate dinner. So it was 2 meals plus a protein shake. Yeah. So, sensible things like that. And then making food at home instead of grabbing the first thing, right? Yeah. Put some patties in, and bake them in the morning and while you're getting ready and while you're doing things. So when they're ready, you put them in your lunchbox and you take your water and you take your protein, take them with you. So you have at least, put a salad with it, get that stuff, bring some nuts with you, maybe some healthy almonds, things like that. Those are ideas that, if you want to snack on stuff, snack on almonds, snack on chia seeds.
Right.
Those are very, very good snacks. Yeah. So, I try to just add in those little things within their day just to change the dynamic of that whole system, basically.
Right. And I want to talk about shakes, and then I want to talk about meal preps, right? Because first, meal preps. I do have friends that actually will take like a Sunday night, and I have a lot of fitness friends that I've met throughout. I was doing that for many years at the health clubs. So I met a lot of trainers, and then here in Bayonne, I just happened to meet a lot of the trainers and stuff. Great people. They do meal preps. So they'll get like on a Sunday night, 7 p.m. They just prepare the week. And they're always posting on Instagram, the week, 5 meals for their lunch, for they can take with them to their job. Exactly. And that seems to be the most sensible thing to do, because waking up in the morning for me to start cooking to take with me, I do it. When my wife was when she was working in the mornings, I would get up in the morning, 6 a.m. I'd make her lunch, make her breakfast, pack it up for her and stuff, and then she would take it with her. But she had me. Right. Some people don't have that help, or they have a husband or a wife who can't cook, so it becomes a little bit. So meal preps that's just my own little thing that I just realized. Like on a weeknight, or whenever that your day off, where you have to go back to the next day, whatever your schedule is, you take 3 hours and you say, I'm just gonna maybe turn on the TV and watch a movie while I'm just making my meals for the week. And I think that really works really well. Now I'm gonna ask you a question about shakes, because I've always struggled with shakes. Like I'm always like this. No, I'm just kidding. I've always struggled with shakes because I can never find one that doesn't screw me up stomach wise or I get bloated. I feel, literally, like I'll get bloated. Like I feel like I'll just gain like an extra 5 pounds. Right. So I'm always like struggling with that. I don't have good, I've had people recommend stuff to me. They'll say, try this, and this won't bloat you. And I take it and it just, I feel like really, really bloated about that. Somebody who can't have certain things like that, is it because of the product that they're taking? Maybe they haven't found the right one, or are some people just not able to take that much liquid and fill up?
It really depends on the situation. I think the majority of the time, I think it's actually the person has something going on that is preventing them from taking it. Now, that being said, there are products out there that are not good. Okay, there are products out there that have, for example, there are shakes that have soy in it, and there are a lot of people that are allergic to soy. So they'll,
Nutriments.
Yeah, remember Nutriments? God, I used to drink those all the time.
Yeah, vanilla Nutriment, man.
Oh, so good.
So good. What is it? Just pure sugar, right?
It was pure sugar, but oh my God, it was so good.
Nuts. We thought we were like trendsetters.
Yes. We had to try the bad stuff to get to the good stuff, right?
That's right.
But yeah, I think. But now, if it's a product that is a highly touted product, that's a very good product, and people are still having a problem with it, then I think that person is that person has to kind of take a step back and look. Okay, Is this something that happens regularly to me? Are
Like a
there other
gut
food?
issue of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. Are there other foods that are bothering me? Because it could be, gluten is a big thing, right? There are a lot of people that have
Yeah,
a gluten intolerance. Gluten is a problem for a lot of people. Okay,
the country,
things like celiac disease and those types of things. Um, so they really have to look at it. Now, so if a person is having that problem with a lot of products, I would look at their gut. And 70% of the immune system is in the gut. If you don't have a healthy gut, then your whole system is out of whack. So you really have to take a look at that. Now that being said, like I said, there are some products that are, okay, I wouldn't recommend though. But you know, there are shakes out there that have nutrients in it, like vitamins and minerals and probiotics in it. So you can take those and actually it will start working little by little on the gut and actually and start to actually, so it kind of gives you the best of both worlds because you're getting the shake, you're getting, let's say, the protein, but you're also getting vitamins or minerals and you're getting the probiotics.
Mm.
There's great shakes out there that have that.
So could we maybe at the end of this, if you can email me like maybe a suggestion of one,
Sure.
I'll put it into the description on the YouTube page, and so people can just have that there, as well as, I mean, obviously the Omega Life 2X is there on the screen.
Right.
But anything like that because that's one of the I'll buy it myself.
Right.
I would try it myself because I do want to I'll tell you my problems. Get on the couch. Um, so because of the quarantine situation, obviously we're all home now. We cook a lot.
Right.
I do probably a good 90% of the cooking in the house, maybe a little bit more. But for the kids, I'll cook in the morning. I'll cook my food. I'll cook sometimes Pamela's food, or most of the time. And we don't eat badly.
Right.
Sometimes there'll be cakes, and we'll indulge a little bit on stuff like that. But we don't eat badly. We don't really eat any carbs, and we don't. There's no rice in this house, which is like ridiculous for me. 'Cause I always had rice,
Right.
but I haven't had rice in. As a matter of fact, last time I got rice, I ate rice. I got a headache.
Oh,
Like, I don't even know if that's a thing, but the next day I got this huge headache, and my daughter had the same headache the next day. We both like with these pounding headaches. So I said to myself, I wonder if it was that. So like about a month later, I just used myself as a guinea pig and I ate rice.
mhm.
And the next day, boom, freaking huge headache. So I said, all right, that's enough of that. So we stopped eating rice. We eat a little bit of bread, but none of it is like over the top, like
Right.
excessive, with bagels and
Mhm.
all that stuff. But one of the main issues is the exercise, and the diet hasn't really been, because I'm home, so it's really difficult. I haven't normally I'm in New York. You're getting to New York with all the steps and everything. It's a workout,
Exactly.
back and forth, and then I'm always running around. I would ride my bike to my office and stuff, and all that stuff was great. So now that stuff is kind of gone, and I'm trying to figure out like what to do health wise,
Mm.
because my health is, I mean, I'm healthy, but I've been eating, and I've been gaining some weight. I'm kind of like what I tell people now. I now have COVID fat, and
Right.
it's a new thing that I just made up. I have COVID fat. I basically have been eating a lot more
Right.
sporadically, which
Yes.
I've never done in my entire life. I've never been home and just randomly go to the kitchen and make a huge meal when I just ate an hour earlier.
Right.
So it's a weird thing. Now I know that's a disciplinary thing, obviously, that I need to just get in check. But with these shakes, realistically, if I implement a shake in the morning, can I really go 4 hours without having a bite? Like, can I
Sure.
get my body to do that? Can anybody get their body to do that at some point?
Can anybody do it? Yes, it is possible to do it. Here's the thing, and I'll talk about myself as an example. And you remember me when we were young. I used to eat, or like it was out of control. I mean, the pizzas and
Yeah. For those that don't know, George and I are related. He's my cousin. second removed, I believe.
Yeah.
And so we grew up together. We also played in the same band together. We recorded albums together. We played shows together. So, and now he's this amazing nutritionist coach, and I'm a guy with a cowboy hat. All
And
right.
I got the looks in the family, just so you know.
That's right. Yeah. No argument there, bastard.
Anyway, so what I was saying, and I lost my train of thought, of course.
About the shakes, and anybody can do it. And
Oh,
you used to do it really badly.
So when I talked about leaving space between meals, I was never a person who ever did that.
Right.
I was a snacker. I was a person who ate and ate and ate and just constant. So when I came across this concept of actually leaving space between the meals and why it was important, I actually said, you know what, I'm going to try this. And it's going to be tough because, when I was the type of person, when I don't eat for a long period of time, I start getting, a little jittery.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah,
right? A little jittery, and you start feeling a little woozy and all that stuff, right?
Like a little drunk.
So,
oof, that's scary.
I started to do it because I was getting a little bit of a gut too, and I was like, okay, we want to try to reduce that a little bit as well. So I started to do that, and it took a while. And there was that disciplinary factor that I had to get over that.
When you say it took a while, months?
For me, it probably took maybe a month or two. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
And now, if anybody knows me, they know I'm a thin guy. I burn, calories like this. Till this day I do. So, things tend to go through me pretty quick. So, but I noticed that as I started doing it more, I was able to go longer and longer without food. And I was like, wow, it actually started. So your body, so the essence is that your body actually adjusts to the way you're eating. And it's really, you're really, when you're eating and you're on any kind of plan like that, you're actually training your body to adjust to the way you're eating. Okay. And just so you know, the reason why that happens, it actually goes to ancestry. It actually goes to the caveman episode. Because why? Because there were, when we were cave people walking around, you didn't have grocery stores around the corner where you can get food, right? You had to hunt your food, and you had to go long periods of time without food. So your body, the human body, had to learn how to adjust for long periods of time. Evolution without being fed. Okay. And the first thing that it had to do was release blood sugar to keep the head awake, because you had to make sure that you would be able to hunt. Right. That's why that whole process happens. That's why the body evolution, through evolution, has learned to do that. Okay. So the body can do it. The problem is that everybody's now so trained today to eat every 2 hours that you don't let your body do that. So your body's so stuck in this mode of constant, and your body's not burning fat, because I don't know if you know this, a lot of people don't know this. It's impossible for your body to have high blood sugar and burn fat at the same time. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. It has to go like this. Okay.
I didn't know that.
So when your blood sugar's down, then your body can start actually burning fat. Okay?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So somebody is intaking constant bagel.
When your body, it's basically, your body's in two modes. It's store or burn. Store or burn. That's the two modes that your body's in. When you're constantly eating, all you're doing is storing. You're not burning. This is a concept that even dietitians can't get. Okay. It's just a simple concept. So again, leaving the space between the meals. Yeah. In the beginning, it might be rough. Okay. It might be rough to do, but once you train your body to do it, and that's why I said having a shake in the morning, or even having something as like eggs in the morning or something, or both. Sometimes I've had both. It tends to keep you full, and it lets your body kind of have that long period where you can get to your next meal. And that's how I did it, a little by little. And now I eat 3 meals a day, no snack. Or if I do have a snack, it's going to be with the meal, not in between the meal.
Ah, okay.
Okay. And that's another issue that people have. People will have their snack between the meal. No, because you think about it, when you eat, let's say you eat lunch and you're eating something that contains sugar. So your blood sugar is high. Okay. Well, your blood sugar is high. you might as well eat a snack with it because your blood sugar's already there, right?
Right, right,
You know,
right.
your body's in store mode. But what you don't want to eat something when your body's in burn mode, okay?
Got
Because as soon as you eat that piece of whatever, when your body's in burn mode, the burn mode stops, and the blood sugar starts to come back up.
back up again. So if you
So
never let that, wow, I didn't even know this. This is like amazing. So yeah, so then there's no, so there, I really, it's such a, it's so like amazing because there are people that are just constantly eating, not because they're constantly eating, and I don't even mean people that are overweight. I just mean people that are that want that extra boost of energy. You know,
right,
that want that to be able to think a little clearer and all
right.
those things that we you know. So I mean, so when you're talking about like 3 meals a day, you're saying 3 meals a day, 4 hours apart, approximately.
Yeah, 4 hours apart. I mean, I would start at four. Try to do it at 4 hours apart, and you can even go to five. I roughly right now I do five, sometimes six, and it's not because I'm consciously doing because I'm busy doing things, working, whatever the case may be, but it's because my body's just not hungry at that
You
time.
don't need it.
Exactly, I don't need it, and also taking in food with nutrition or supplements also actually helps because the body has enough nutrition to run.
Right,
Okay. If you're lacking nutrition, that's another thing that actually makes people snack.
right, right,
So,
right. That's why.
so that's another thing. So, but yeah, I would say starting with 3 meals a day. I mean, think about it. We grew up with the concept of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But
Right.
now this whole concept of you have to eat 5, 6, 7 times a day, and people do it.
I don't even know where that came from. I mean, because I know a lot of people. That's what they do. They have to eat 6 small meals
Yeah,
throughout the whole day.
exactly. And now here's the thing about that. How many of those meals are actually going to be the healthiest meals around?
Right. Well,
Not all,
how
okay?
can they be?
Right?
Yeah.
So all you're doing is your blood sugar is going up and then starts to come down, back up, starts to come down, back up. You're never getting it
You
down.
never burn any fat.
You're never burning fat.
So this is like a major thing because I remember working at the health club industry, and and there were these very very nice nice members, but they would come in to play racquetball almost every single day,
Right,
and there were about 4 or 5 of them. Every single one of them was just always overweight.
right,
Like they're just, and they would play for years and years. They would come down drenched with sweat. They would work out, and then they would always be just like overweight.
right.
Um, so they're probably just sweating and then just eating for the rest of the day, and then
Exactly.
coming in the morning and sweating for that whatever hour and a half,
Right.
and then just eating. And then they don't give their body a chance to burn anything because it's constantly filled up with the sugar stuff in it. And
Exactly. Exactly.
so that's like an
And you have to remember that your body. I know there's the whole keto movement and the burning of fat, for fuel and all that stuff, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, if there was a contest and your body had to burn sugar or fat, it's going to burn sugar first. That's the preferred method of fuel.
right,
But it has to burn through that sugar in order to get to the fat.
right.
You
See,
know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think people really understand that concept.
They don't. They don't.
It's like the first time I think I've ever heard of that. Um, so that is amazing right there. I mean, talk about value, and anybody listening out there. I mean, that is really part of the reason why I do this show is because I learned so much from the guests, and also it provides so much value for people to really go out and really take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
Um, George, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Definitely.
I definitely think that you're gonna, come back, obviously, and be our
Absolutely.
nutritionist and help us through, help us just get better and feel better.
I would
Um,
love to.
let's talk a little bit about this is the website here for Omega Life 2. I'm gonna get a bottle like as soon as as soon as I get off
Right.
here, I'm gonna order a bottle. This is something that you have to get every single, monthly. Is there a subscription for it so I don't have to think about it?
Yeah, yeah. There's not a subscription on that site, but that's the next thing I'm working on to get a subscription to be able so you can actually auto renew and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's the much easiest thing.
Absolutely.
To do. Awesome. So okay, so anyway, the site is there. I'm gonna put the information on Maybe you could even throw in the snack bar that you use, the shake that you use, and send it to me. I'll put it into the description of
Okay.
the YouTube channel, and then we'll get together again. Hope we'll schedule something again for you to come in, and
Absolutely.
we'll pick a topic. And maybe anybody out there that's watched this has an idea. You can always email me and let me know what we should actually discuss and ask George. So, George, thank you so much. Don't go away. I want to thank you for being on here.
Thank you for having me on.
It's
Appreciate it.
my pleasure, and we will see you again very shortly. So, hang on tight. Take care, man.
Take care.
Awesome, 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 awesome. As always, you know, I've known George for a very long time, so it's always a pleasure to just hear how much knowledge he has and how much information he's gathered and how much passion he has for what he's doing and so much value. I mean, this whole thing, I had no idea about this. I mean, it just blew me away. So I need to, because I do have this COVID fat that I need to handle. So I'm actually going to start really working on that. I'm going to start taking this omega 3. I'm going to start doing that. I'm gonna try to do this thing with the 4 hours. I'm gonna start with 4 hours and see if I can do it. Because I think I eat breakfast and then like about 30 minutes later I eat again. So I don't know what's going on, but I gotta fix that. So but anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, if you like these interviews, please just subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell for notifications, and share it. I think this episode is a lot of value for people, so please share it to people that you care about, that you want them to get healthy, and that's it. So I appreciate you all. I will see you all tomorrow night, where Michaela McLean is actually going to be on, singer-songwriter. She's amazing. I directed one of her music videos about a year ago. It was awesome, and she's going to be on tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. Have a great, great, great night. God bless. Oh, and peace.